Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, November the 16th. I'm sorry we're late and everything. We just got tied up with the Board of Public Works and a whole bunch of other meetings. Forgive me, but there's lots of stuff going on right now, that's for sure. Really wonderful news here. On Wednesday, November the 16th, 2022, from Monday, we have no additional deaths to report. I don't know how it gets any better than that. We got most of our states in the green. We know this is not going to go away, but truly, from my standpoint, it's a big time thing to have a situation, at least for a day, to where we do not have to, read really bad news for some family or a bunch of loved ones. 689 people are active cases, 277 new positive cases. Daily positivity rate at 4.51, cumulative rate at 8.54. We have 603,567 that are recovered cases, 146 in the hospital and 24 on ICU units and 6 on ventilators. And you can see the map is mostly all green. I've reminded you over and over, and I continue to do so, get your booster shots. It's really important, especially if you're 50 and older. You're eligible at 12 and older. Absolutely you should be getting your flu shot as well. The flu season is going to take a bunch of lives and everything. And from what I understand, it's pretty tough stuff and going through the states at a pretty rapid rate. The numbers continue to get a little teeny bit better. They eke up, and we're going to stay right at it. From the standpoint of the vaccine calculator, it's up on your website and everything, and you can get registered in. It'll help you with getting on when to get your shots. Long-term care facilities, we've got 33 outbreaks and none in our church community, 74 inmates and 19 staff cases in West Virginia. Homeowners Assistance Program, I've told you a bunch about the Homeowners Assistance Program, and it's still up there. It's significant dollars. If we can get you qualified, just please call us and give us a shot at getting you qualified. I've told you about giving blood over and over and over. It's really important. Check with your physician and absolutely think really hard about that and everything. We have another major EMS rate increase and everything, and that's really good stuff. Today I'm announcing that DHHR will provide a 10% increase in ambulance ground transportation rates. All that's good stuff. I directed Secretary Kraus to request this increase, and because these funds are critical to our local ambulance services and everything, and absolutely it's really good stuff. They're effective today and retroactively they retroactively begin July 1st of 2022. So back to July 1st and everything. All good stuff. Secretary Crouch is on, and he can tell you more about that today. At Shepherd University, there's a really great football player there. His name is Tyson, and I hope I pronounced this right, Badgett. But Tyson is the team's quarterback. He was the winner. He's from Martinsburg, and he was the winner, last year of the Harlan Hill Award, which is the Heisman Trophy for Division II. Now, this is a real athlete, and this team is a tremendous team. They're going to be playing for the Division II National Championship, and we want to wish them the very best in every way. Absolutely, we want to bring home that national championship more than you can ever know, and we want Tyson to continue his dream and everything. And literally, what he'll be doing, Tyson is the first player from Shepherd University to be invited to play in the Senior Bowl, which is flat out just totally incredible. And that could not be any better in my eyes, because this kid, we can plan to watch this kid on Sunday, and we'll be watching him on Sundays in the years to come, and it's really great stuff. And you see all the support the other players have for this great kid and all the support that he has for his team. It's really good stuff. So God bless each and every one of them. Good luck to you, and bring it home to all of us. You know, Monday begins our deer buck season, and with a firearm and everything, and I'll be joining many thousands of West Virginians on that day, and in pursuit and trying to see if we can harvest a nice buck and everything, and so I ask you, please observe all the laws, be super safe, enjoy this incredible state, and enjoy absolutely all the goodness that comes to your soul in every way as nature, as all of our wonderful wildlife touch your soul. I can never thank all of our DNR officers, all the great work the DNR does, you know, from the standpoint of our biologists and all the goodness that we bring all across this state. You know, I can remember just like it was yesterday. You know, that's all there is to it. In southern West Virginia, in many of the counties, you never saw deer. I mean, that's all. I mean, without any question, biologists have moved and relocated deer from different areas and everything. Now our state abounds in so many different ways, whether it's the remarkable turkey, you know, population that we have today. We're trying to do neat stuff with quail, you know, right now. And I'm getting all kinds of reports where hunters have gone and harvested their limit on quail this year. It is amazing, and it is just good stuff, you know. So absolutely, with all in me, it's a tourism boom for us. We all know that beyond belief, but with that being said, it literally is good for your soul. Get out and enjoy these great mountains and waters in this unbelievable state. That's all there is to it. Just take time to do it. You will not regret. So, nevertheless, also, you know, one thing I ought to report about is our big buck photo contest. So, you know, as you're able to harvest your deer and everything, send us the pictures and everything. There's all kinds of wonderful prizes you can win and everything. There's awards of lifetime hunting and fishing license or hunting and fishing licenses, and I think I'm right on the fishing, but I know I'm right on the hunting as far as the lifetime hunting license. So nevertheless, get out, enjoy the wonderful outdoors. Send us your photos, and absolutely a bunch of you will win, and it's really good stuff. Great stuff, and another great effort from Secretary Ruby and all the wonderful folks in tourism, because they just make us better. That's all there is to it. They just drive more and more folks to West Virginia, and that's exactly what we want. Our First Lady today, you know, along with our curator, Randall Reed Smith, today unveiled the official 2022 limited edition Christmas ornament. And this year, believe it or not, it's the face of Baby Dog. And it could not probably be any better in my book. But that nevertheless, you know, they have a limited number, you know, that they sell every year, and there she is, I guess, with her ornament. But nevertheless, there's a little wooden tag that goes with it and everything, and it's really, I mean, I don't know the exactly the person that well, and I've got it right here. It says this year's ornament was made by Charleston stained glass artist Amanda Buckner. So Amanda, you did a whale of a job. That's all there is to it, because she really does. It really does look an awful lot like Baby Dog. And so, again, through all this, one great thing that she's been able to bring is she makes us smile, and she loves everybody. And I say it over and over. I don't know how the message could be any simpler than just that. If we all had that, if we all just looked at others and tried to make others smile, and absolutely we all loved everyone. Didn't matter, black, white, rich, poor, Democrat, Republican. It didn't matter, old or young. If we loved everyone, wouldn't it be one whale of a lot better world? So nevertheless, we want to wish everyone, you know, safety and happiness over this Christmas holiday and Thanksgiving holiday to come. And so nevertheless, that's all I've got for right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar. Well, good afternoon. And following up with what the governor said, there is increasingly clear evidence that that we are going to see a rather severe flu season. We're starting to see some of that now. The southeast part of the country has been enveloped in influenza A, which is the type of flu that is going around that's combining with the current challenge we have with the respiratory syncytial virus, RSV. And then we are also now seeing a new form of COVID become the most dominant form in the country. So that is the BQ.1 and the BQ.1.1 variants that are really descendants of BA.5, the Omicron variant. And they have the special power of being able to evade the immune system even better than the BA.5 variant was able to do. And what's really important is that the new COVID booster shot has benefit and beneficial effects to target your immune system better against the BA.5 variant, and now also the BQ.1 and the BQ.1.1 variant. So that series of COVID viruses, which are now, as those three, account for about 85% or so of the cases, 80% of the cases or so in the US, and are coming into West Virginia. That's the reason why it's really, really important for people who have not yet gotten their new Omicron booster shot who are eligible to please do that. The other thing is, with these new variants, there's some new symptoms that might give you some insight that you have COVID. One is a lot of sneezing. That's something we really haven't seen before, but sneezing may be a trigger to tell you maybe you could have COVID. And why that's important is because we really want to encourage people to be very aggressive about testing themselves at home, because a recent study came out and talked about a very large group of people from the Veterans Administration who had COVID and who took Paxlovid. And what they found was at every age, the person who had COVID that took Paxlovid, which is the antiviral pill for COVID, at every age, at every vaccination status, whether you'd had all your vaccines, including your new boosters, or you'd had no vaccines, no matter what your age is, no matter if you'd had COVID and recovered or not, there was about a 26% reduction in the risk of long COVID in everybody in the study, and about a 40% reduction in death. And as the governor said, we have seen no deaths in the last few days here in West Virginia, and that's wonderful from COVID. But we know that nationally, we're still seeing about 315 people die a day from COVID in the US. And currently this year, we have lost about 220,000 Americans. And you put that into context, we lose about 50,000 Americans in a really bad flu season. And the projection is we're going to lose another 70,000 Americans or so at the current rate from the combination of flu and respiratory syncytial virus and COVID. And we also know now that the age of people who are dying of COVID is going back up again. And only about 27% of Americans over 65, the highest risk category, have had the Omicron booster shot. So we really can't emphasize enough that right now is a really important time for people to get their flu shot and their new Omicron booster shot if they're eligible, so that we continue not to read any names at the beginning of these press briefs. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Marsh. Next, we'll hear from Secretary Bill Crouch with the DHHR.
Well, thank you, Jordan. The governor announced the increase in ambulance services, the rate increase. We're very pleased to announce that. That's an $11.8 million influx into the industry. We really support those folks and what they do. They're some of our local heroes throughout the state. The 10% increase brings that rate up, that Medicaid rate, up to the Medicare rate. By law, we're not allowed to pay more than the Medicare rate in Medicaid. So we're at the maximum we can pay right now. We hope that helps. We know there are problems throughout the state with regard to the EMS. And as the governor said, that will be retroactive to July 1. Also want to mention the propane payment. We've talked about this every year. We're pleased to announce a supplemental payment to assist the eligible residents with propane heating expense for the 2022-23 winter season. Residents who use propane for heating and who received a regular low-income energy assistance program payment the past winter will receive an automatic $72 payment to assist with propane heating expenses. Payments were made possible through a $250,000 donation resulting from a class action suit in the Swigert versus Amerigas case. The donation was facilitated by attorneys David Romano of Romano Law Office in Parksburg, Megan M. Cloud of McGuire Woods LLP, Charlottesville, Virginia, and Edgar Gentle III, court-appointed claims administrator from Hoover, Alabama. This special propane heating assistance will be provided to 3,624 families in West Virginia. We hope this additional payment will be helpful to folks. Payments are expected to be issued by November 21st, 2022. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Secretary. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I wondered if you had considered sending in additional National Guard troops to address staffing vacancies in the prisons, or if there are other short-term solutions to the problems there that you're considering. Thank you.
Charles, we'll do whatever we have to do. You know, the great thing about the National Guard is they have stepped up and they've always been ready to go. And without any question, you know, whatever we got to do, we'll do. And, you know, we had a bill last year, you know, that could have very well, you know, been a methodology that would have made things better. You know, I absolutely hope and pray that we will get that bill through. But basically, what the bill did was give some level of flexibility as far as pay to areas that were really seeking and having a hard time finding the correctional officers and everything. And in just some areas, you know, that of our state where living expenses are really higher and everything else, we needed some level of flexibility in that pay deal. But nevertheless, you know, hopefully we'll get that through this year. But for right now, you know, if we need additional National Guard troops and everything, we'll send them.
All right, thanks, Charles. Next, we'll go to Stephen Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yeah, Steve Adams here with Ogden Newspapers. I don't know if I'm stealing Brad's question or not, but I kind of a follow-up the DHHR report. Obviously, you all are supportive of the recommendations that were made in that report. And you all have said that you will implement them. What type of timetable are we looking at for being able to recommend them? And can most of the recommendations be done internally without legislation, such as creating the deputy secretaries? What's the process here? Thank you.
Well, Stephen or Brad, let me just say just this. You know, I met yesterday with Secretary Crouch. You know, one of the things that I told him, just as point blank as I could tell him, is, you know, I said, listen, you know, I am without question, and it's just my personality, but I am the most impatient guy in the room all the time. And really and truly, if we have recommendations from the McChrystal folks and everything, and an absolute super reputable firm and everything that has gone through this thing top to bottom, let's get moving. And he assured me that we would get moving and we would do it immediately. And that's, you know, there are no question. There's probably some things that, you know, are going to have legislative approval, but some things we can do now, and we need to move on that. So, Secretary Crouch, maybe you can add some more to that. But we had a great conversation yesterday, and I'll promise you, we've had this conversation a bunch of times. But with all that being said, we're moving. But Secretary Crouch, maybe you can add something to that.
Yeah, thank you, Governor, and thank you, Stephen. We are moving very quickly. Had a meeting this morning with kind of our key folks here, leadership folks at DHHR. finished that right before this briefing. Governor and I did have a great conversation yesterday. He was very clear, and I understand the need to move quickly and had planned to move quickly. But you will be hearing from DHHR within the next week with regard to some of these decisions. Most of these we do not need legislation for. The governor said it's possible some we could. But we think we're going to be up and running here with some new folks and new positions, and I'm glad to have the help. So thank you, Governor. I've heard you, and we will move quickly.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Next to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, everyone, and excuse me for asking two very brief questions. But to Secretary Crouch, there was an advisory that came out from DHHR last night, I believe, regarding the concern about overdose increases in 36 West Virginia counties. I'd like that addressed. And I'd also like the governor to just weigh in on what he thinks about President Trump declaring for the presidency again.
I'll tell you the honest truth. I watched the entire speech last night, and then I'll defer in a second to Secretary Crouch. But I don't know how in the world you could watch that and not be impressed. I mean, I thought he did a masterful job, and there's times, and I would tell the president this is my great friend. There's times when he can, just like any of us, maybe his personality gets going and maybe gets a little bit off message and off script. I surely do the same thing, but what a masterful job that he did last night, and there's no question in the world, I don't care what you say, there is no question. What's going on today in Washington, D.C. is an absolute terrible shame. I mean, any way you cut it, whether you watch and you look at Afghanistan, or you look at what's going on with crime all across the country, you look at our energy dependence now instead of independence. Absolutely, you look at inflation, or you look at what's going on at the border, or what all else could there possibly be? And it just continues on and on and on and on. You know, last night, in my opinion, you saw a president. Unfortunately, for the last couple of years, you've seen a lot of bumbling around and decisions that surely cannot possibly be wise. And so I thought he did a heck of a job. That's all there is to it. And Secretary Krause, maybe you could have your part of the question.
Yes, thank you, Governor, and thank you, Mark. Yes, what you saw, Mark, on social media is an effort to try to get information out to individuals and families and friends and others who might be more aware to help friends who overdose or individuals who overdose. We're trying to push naloxone out as hard as we can. What we've learned through this model is we look at other states with regard to overdoses in Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And we've learned, following the data and looking at our data carefully, that we're going to see those same overdoses in about 36 hours as those drugs spread through West Virginia. And we're working hard to make sure, if we know those overdoses are coming, to make sure that we push out more naloxone out there. But fentanyl's our problem. It can create overdose incidents of overdose that might not have happened because of the increased amount of fentanyl in the drug. So we're trying to watch what's going on around us and make sure we react. We're trying hard to save lives. This SUV problem is not going away. We have done so many things to try to blunt the effect of drugs, but we have more to go, more to do here. So thank you for that question, Mark.
All right, yeah, thank you, Mark. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Hi, everybody. Governor, you did describe immediately implementing the recommendations of the McChrystal Group as they regard DHHR. Mostly, those recommendations had to do with better communication and breaking down silos. What are some concrete steps that need to be taken? Thank you.
Brad, listen, I'm not going to get into the specific things. I'm not surely going to get into to just saying, do this one thing, do this one thing, do this. With how I have done everything since I've been here, you know, I have let our secretaries and their organizations make decisions. But at the same time, I have absolutely stood right in the background and said, now I am telling you, and without any question, I'll sit on you and sit on you in a big way and everything. I expect great, great, great performance. You see, Brad, I'm the guy that grew up, my dad said, don't confuse effort with accomplishment. I don't care how hard you try. I want us to achieve. And without any question, we've got a lot of issues, but DHHR has always had tons of issues. The number one issue probably centers around communication more than anything. But absolutely, we've got a lot of holes in the dike that we need to absolutely plug, and we're on it. Now, just, you know, you can't, just like walking in on day one and saying, you know, our roads are in terrible shape, and absolutely, what are you going to do, Governor? You know, well, I did it, didn't I? And absolutely with this, if we'll just take time to breathe just a little bit and let our people get their feet underneath them and absolutely be able to really address the recommendations of this report, you'll see the exact same level of progress go on. Absolutely, with all in us, we'll get this. We'll get this. Just everybody settle down, breathe just a little bit. No, you just can't you can't change the whole in one quick breath and everything, but just look around and be fair. Look around at what's happened in tourism. Look around at what's happened with our economy. Absolutely, you know what's happened in roads. Absolutely, with all in us, we'll get this, and it'll be way better. But we won't absolutely just do something shooting from the hip. We're not going to do that. We're going to do it right.
All right, thanks, Brad. Next, we'll go to Amelia Nicely with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Hi, good afternoon, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. Governor, I'm wondering if anything that came out of interims influenced your priorities for the upcoming legislative session, and if so, do you plan to work with lawmakers on that legislation?
Somebody, was it Emily? Is that correct?
It's Amelia.
Okay. Well, it was difficult to hear. I don't know why I'm having a hard time hearing your question, Emily, but I think I've got it. And if I missed it and everything, we'll let you ask it again and everything. But the bottom line to what we've got to do in the up and coming session, you know, is just one thing and one thing alone. We've got to keep the momentum going in West Virginia, do we not? Without any question, we've got people all across this great state that are really hurting from the standpoint of inflation. And we need to step up and help them. You know, this business of infighting and, you know, saying, well, you know, all of us were for Amendment 2 and it got blown up. Well, in all honesty, all the amendments, you know, in all honesty, the people spoke, and they spoke pretty daggum clearly, did they not? I mean, the amendments were destroyed, not just defeated, they were destroyed. And the voice of the people spoke so loudly, it is unbelievable that anybody would even think of ignoring the voice of the people. Now, so what do we need to do? Our people want tax relief. We need to get at doing that. Our people want tax relief for our people. Our people want local control. Our people don't want us messing around with the Constitution. Well, you know, they get it, and they get it right now. Without any question, we need to bring meaningful tax relief. We need to get rid of the car tax, boom, on day one. And absolutely beyond that and everything, if we want real jobs and real growth to come to West Virginia, then we got to have people in West Virginia. And how you bring people and companies and small business to West Virginia is get rid of your personal income tax. Now, we can't get rid of it all tomorrow, but we can absolutely get ourselves on a constructive pathway to get rid of our personal income tax. We don't need to walk away forever from the standpoint of the machinery and inventory tax, but we need to just shove that down the line just a little bit here, get our breath, reward our people, help to get money in the pockets of our people, and then entice many, many others to come to this great state. How do you do it? I mean, for crying out loud, it's been done, it's been done, it's been done. You know, you lower or get rid of your personal income tax. That is how you drive growth to West Virginia. And absolutely, that's what we need to get at doing. Now, we don't need to be children playing in a sandbox. We don't need to do that. We need to absolutely be adults in the room and work together and do what the voice of the people says do. I don't know how to be any more frank than just that. We absolutely need to drive jobs and jobs and jobs and opportunity to us. But with that, you got to have people here. You got to have people that want to come to West Virginia. How do you do it? You entice them to come, people to come, and make their lives better. The surefire way to do it is absolutely get on a pathway to getting rid of your personal income tax. And people will come from everywhere. They want to come. They want to come so badly, it's unbelievable. All the states all around us, we pay a significant lesser personal income tax than we pay. We got great property taxes in West Virginia. But literally, come on everybody. Let's get together and work this out. For crying out loud, nobody needs to be up on a soapbox taking all the credit in the world. Nobody needs to do that. For crying out loud, there's a way to do this today in West Virginia and keep this momentum coming and going and make it just better and better and better. You can't be selfish. You can't want something for self. You've got to want everything for the people that we've been honored by their vote beyond belief to serve. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to serve. We're supposed to not want something for self. I've told you a bunch of times, if I wanted something for self, it was an easy way to sit back and do nothing and let the machinery and inventory tax pass, and millions would have come to me. And I said, don't do it. I said, don't do it. Because I'm here to do exactly what I'm supposed to do, and that's serve. And that's what all of us should be doing in every way.
All right, thanks, Amelia. Next, we'll go to Sarah Sager with WSAZ.
Yes, thank you. My question is direct. I have a couple of questions directed to Secretary Crouch. Secretary Crouch, I want to talk about the report, the top to bottom report. We've looked that over, and there are many mission statement style kind of information on there, and not a lot of actions or solutions to real life and death issues. So, what are some of the bold transformational changes that are going to be implemented? Is this just adding more deputy secretaries? I know you've addressed timeline there, but how are these changes going to help the workers who are handling situations with some of the state's most vulnerable population?
Bill, Dr. Secretary Crouch, go.
Yeah, thank you, Governor, and thank you, Sarah. I wanted to say that I don't need the time to begin addressing this publicly. But I need the time to speak to our staff first. I think they should hear some of these changes before the public hears those, before those are sent out through the press. So again, I met with our key leadership portion of our leadership team this morning. We have quite a few plans. The information the governor mentioned with regard to communication is important. Silos are important. We're going to impact those things. We're going to make changes. We have a lot of bureaus there who are really working very well with each other. One of the things the report talks about is good communication. I've talked a little bit about three of our commissioners of three different bureaus were invited to speak at the National Medicaid Association directors meeting to talk about how we are working together to impact children's mental health in the state through crisis hotlines, crisis teams, funding, et cetera. So we have great communication there. the discussion with the McChrystal folks is really communicating down below that, below the level of the commissioners and deputy commissioners. So we've got a great bunch of people out there who we need to make some changes here in terms of how information flows and how they get that information. So there will be some changes. But I really do need to let our folks have the opportunity to hear those changes before I push those out publicly over press. So thank you for that. Stay tuned. You will be seeing some changes here in the next few weeks.
Just a second, Jordan. Listen, and Sarah, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Sarah, let me just ask you just this. And I want you to be really fair. First of all, we just got the report. And anybody that would just act on the report just like that is probably not very smart. Absolutely, we will act immediately and we will act impatiently, but we will act smartly. Sarah, ask yourself just point blank. We now have a new economic development secretary, and we moved to do that. And I came up with the idea to do that as well as a new secretary for tourism. Literally, a lot of folks said, oh, that's just growing government and everything. Along the way, we inherited something that was terrible with highways. And look what's happened with highways. Look what's happened with our economy. Our economy all over the place. Look what's happened with our vets and our seniors. And look what's happened with our teachers and our service personnel and education. Now, none of it is ever going to be perfect. But one thing you've got to say is it's a hell of a lot better than it has ever been, or a hell of a lot better than when I walked in the door. Now, Sarah, I'll promise you I absolutely live by this. Judge me by my deeds. Judge me by my deeds. You just absolutely give us a little time. And you wait and see. We'll make real progress here. Now that we have an outside interest report that tells us and guides us and gives us a pathway, a playbook that makes it even better than what we may have had in-house. So judge me by my deeds, give me a little bit of time, and you'll see real improvement.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Governor, back to you.
Well, I really don't have anything else. I could end with that, with just what I just said, but we should celebrate November the 16th for sure. November the 16th should be celebrated from the standpoint of lots of different things. You know, an incredible athlete at Shepherd University, I think Tyson Badgett is, and we should wish him the best in every way. But on November the 16th, and it is maybe only, one robin doesn't make spring. But really and truly, at the end of the day, we didn't have any deaths to report to you today. And that's really great. That's really, really, really great. So absolutely, just stay safe. Enjoy this incredible holiday and Christmas, season that's upon us and everything. And surely show your thanks, as I know all West Virginians and myself are going to do. But nevertheless, thank you so much, and let's just keep at it. Keep at it. Draw more and more goodness to this great state. Thank you.